day, paranormal community, and thank you for being patient as Anthony and I figured out our shit over the last 2 weeks to come back to you with this another amazing episode of the Odyssey Files. As always, I am your host, Michael O'Neill, and with me is Mr. Anthony Hernandez. Welcome back, Anthony.
Hello, sir.
Oh, it has been a struggle.
Oh yeah, both of us that last week. So
that last week. So the first week that we were gone, that's on me. I had an investigation that night, the night prior. Didn't get to bed till I think close to 6 a.m. Wasn't going to get up to do the show in just a couple of hours. So yeah, I was like, let's just wait. And then last week, neither one of us could get our computers to work or the internet to work. And I actually, where I am right now, moved everything out into the trailer, my mobile command center, instead of doing the show from the office, where I have been for the last 8 years. But and that was because I wanted to be close to my Wi-Fi router so that I could get internet access. And T-Mobile had shut me down. Apparently, unlimited data doesn't mean the same thing between me and them. And so I guess once I hit the 100 gigabytes in a month streaming threshold, they pretty much turned me down to 1990s Wi-Fi.
Well, you see, that's the clause: unlimited data, but slow as a snail after you hit that one point.
Pretty much, they hold on. Ugh, sorry about that. My headphones started talking to me. But yeah, so they slowed me down to the point where no streaming service would work. I don't even think Zoom would have worked on it. But
no.
But yeah, so we're trying it again. So far, so good. And here we are. So I've been turned back up. I hit my monthly revamp or whatever, the restock day. But even though I am on my Wi-Fi right now, I haven't noticed any issues. But if I suddenly disappear, we'll be back. And Anthony has so much experience with that now. You're a pro when it comes to just taking over
the glitch out.
In my absence as I disappear. So anyway, we have an interesting show because you brought this one up, and then you got roped into doing it as well, and it's kind of snowballed a little bit on the both of us, and we'll get into that. But why don't you bring us up to speed on why we're talking about this topic?
Well, pretty much I had a friend that asked me about La Llorona, which is like the local white lady legend down here, and asked me to look into it and if I would do something on it. And I said, okay. I don't know. The white lady thing it's really overplayed in some places, and looking into it, I came up with what was out there, which is good, but really it should be three different, possibly even four. I was like, because you've got the weeping part of it, which is like, okay, well, that's one thing, but then you've got the can't think of the name of it now. Anyway, the vengeful mother part of it, and then you've got the grief part of it, the grief, the sorrow, and the revenge. And really, they're really different things, because like the grief, the monstrous grief falls into some of the stories go into killing of the children to affect the guy that wronged them and stuff like that. The same thing with the revenge. The revenge usually goes after the person who wronged her in life, basically coming back to them in death, which I guess you could put grief and revenge kind of together. The sorrow is, I see how they split that one out to the different pieces now. But then you also have just apparitions out there that happen to be in white or happen to look white because it's an apparition, and they get thrown into that mix of stuff and probably shouldn't be there, especially with you're talking about something that would, at least in the one type, would definitely try to do you harm. So yeah, I kind of think that needs a little bit better classification for that than rather just the white lady.
So I listened to the show, as you know, that you did, of the different stories, the different origin stories for
Yeah.
a lot of these legends of the White Lady. And as you know, I hated every one of them. And I mean, you did again great job in your research. I mean, that's never anything other than top notch. But I did not like a single thing, which you know. And so I sent you a message just saying flat out, like, this is going to be a throwdown. I'm like, I'm gonna eviscerate you as you tell these stories. And uh, and so I started looking into claims of my own, that followed more in line of what I was looking for, or what I do look for when it comes to researching origin stories. And ended up getting madder and madder and hating the entire topic altogether because it's such a cluster of random shit that it really seemed, and people will understand by the end of the show what I mean here. It really seemed to be that if a spirit was in white, it was a white lady. Like that was it. Like that was the only common denominator, period, was she's in white. And some of the people who were getting some of the stories and spirits who were getting called a white lady had no tragedy whatsoever. Were they dead? Of course. But there was no loss. There was no tragedy. Was there maybe an accident? Sure. But it's still no claim at all had anything negative. There was like no sorrow. There was no revenge. There was no anger. Like it. I'll bring this up later, but just as a point of reference or an example, people threw Resurrection Mary into the mix of a white lady, and I say Resurrection Mary like everybody should know that story because everybody should know that story. Like it's one of the most famous stories in all of the paranormal world is Resurrection Mary out of Chicago. It was even on Unsolved Mysteries back in the day. But
did they present her as a white lady on that show?
I don't think so. They never mentioned her. I actually, I can stream it because Unsolved Mysteries on a streaming service now. But I don't think so.
Okay, because I was going to say I don't really think that. To me, it wouldn't fall in the right category because it's none of those. It's none of the things that really, if you want to classify the white lady, should be classified as, because hers is really benign for the most part. I mean, it doesn't really.
It is. All of her claims is that somebody picks her up, they take her dancing, and then she has them drop her off in front of the cemetery, and then she disappears. Like, that's it. Yeah. Like, nobody's ever gone missing because they picked up Resurrection Mary, or she didn't suddenly appear and then like all of their children died. Like there's none of that. They take her dancing, they have fun, they don't know that she's obviously a spirit, and then she disappears into the cemetery. That's it. But apparently, when I typed in claims of the white lady to just try to get an overview, that was one of the examples given to me of what a white lady is. And the only thing about it is she's seen in a white dress. That's it.
Yeah,
And
and
that
that doesn't really.
that can't be the only thing that brings up the white lady. So here's what I
No.
want you to do. Here's what I want you to do. And you can shorten it if you want. You don't have to go into, every single last in detail. So if you want to sum it up, be my guest. But you had multiple examples of what you considered to be a white lady that you talked about on the show that you did about it.
Yes.
So why don't you go over those, and then, like I told you before this show, I'll tear it apart, and then we'll go on to the next.
So basically, when I was looking into it, you'll see as we go along. But I I really like Jung as far as his philosophies on some stuff. So the he goes into universal consciousness, which basically means things that all people would recognize, the archetypes, which is, I know you not a big thing for, but so taking it all the way back to Greek mythology, you get the stories of Medea with Jason and the Argonauts, and basically he was with her, had kids with her, and after he came back from getting everything that he wanted from the quest, basically to get more power, he basically moved on to a younger princess to get more political power, and in doing so scorned her. So she decided for revenge that she would kill all his children because it would hurt him more than it would hurt her, which in turn also kind of drove her crazy at the end of it also, which she would be the vengeful mother type archetype, which is not really something that I would think most people would be looking for, to go find a ghost that would do something like that, because that just, I don't know, seems bad. I wouldn't think that would be a good experience, you coming out of that. The second one is Lamia, and that also goes back to Greek mythology. And she's grief, but she's uncontrollable grief. Her story is that she compares herself to the Greek god, and basically says that she's better than the god, and the Greek gods were so forgiving that they decided the god sent her kids, which were Apollo and I can't think of who it was. Apollo and I think it was.
You think I would know that because I know Greek mythology.
Well, so do I, but I just drawing a blank right now for who that was. Which I was like, damn it.
Is it Artemis?
Anyway, yeah, Artemis. So Artemis, yeah, she sends Apollo and Artemis to go basically kill him, and he slaughters all the boys, she slaughters all the females, and basically in some versions of the story, Hera actually does magic to her to make her even eat the dead children on top of that. So she is just devastated and distraught, and basically and I'm sorry, that was Niobe who that was, not the
not Artemis, Niobe.
not Artemis.
Oh no,
Yeah, no, that was the person, not Lamia. Lamia was the one that was transformed by Hera because she basically did something to offend her and basically made her kill her own children and eat them. Niobe, basically Artemis and Apollo killed them, and she was unconsolable and couldn't stop crying. So the gods turned her to stone, and now there's a formation in Greece called the Weeping Rock, which that's supposed to be her in that form. And when it rains, it looks like the rock's crying to this day. And she would represent the sorrow and stuff like that.
See, this is what I despise about it. I don't want things that symbolize shit. Like, I want the story of what formed the White Lady. And as much as I know Greek mythology, that's what it is. It's mythology. It's not supernatural. It's mythology, which means all of these stories are garbage. They don't exist.
Yeah, but And
it
not to be blasphemous to somebody, but like someone else could look at the Bible and say the same thing, that those are mythology stories, but that's not true, because they've even found things in Greece that go back to the labyrinth and stuff like that. They've uncovered evidence that I don't know about the Minotaur part of it, but they've uncovered that there was a labyrinth and they did put you in there and you basically did not get out. So I mean, parts of it are true. They've found parts of damn it, now I can't think of the name of the city, but basically Achilles and Hector and all that. They've found that they think they know where that city is now too. So is it true? Probably not 100% truthful. Is it based off of stuff? Yes. So there's
So you think a god came down and slaughtered all of these children?
no, I mean, not really.
Well, then the whole basis for why she's sorrowful doesn't exist.
But I don't throw it out, because like that would be like throwing out all the tales for leprechauns and fairies, and you kind of can't, or to me you kind of can't pick and choose which you decide to put a little bit of belief in, or I guess skepticism into, without just discounting them.
Have you been like out in society? That's all anybody does is they pick and choose
Oh
what they
yeah.
do and they what they want and what they don't want to believe in. But
uh,
like
I kind of
this is, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, no, I kind of just, you can't, if you're going to be truly objective about it, you have to apply that to all of them. You can't just be like, this is the truth and everything outside of that is not true, because that's not generally how that is. They're either stories and folklore and stuff are based off of at least partial truths and stories for a reason, or I mean, I'm sure there are some that are just made up, but usually there's something behind why the story got made.
So I take a small exception to that because I believe that there is an extreme difference between Greek god mythology and elementals such as leprechauns, fairies, and stuff like that. I mean, and a lot of people believe, I don't know if I'm one way or the other, but that those type of entities are interdimensional.
Yes.
So I mean, it is it interdimensionally possible that Greek gods exist? Fine. If you want to go so far out into left field, you're not even in the ballpark anymore. Sure. And
But you realize there's still people who worship and who are part of that religion still to this day. Like those
Greek
religions are not
mythology,
dead.
like Zeus and
Yeah,
Hera.
they worship those gods still over there. Which I mean, I don't know.
Well, that's why Greece had such a financial crisis all those years ago. Maybe if they did a little better, get a little bit more modern. No, I agree with you. But if they're even remotely based on stuff that happened in real life, then that's the story that I want to hear. I don't want to hear about Hera, being jealous of a human coming down and sending her children to kill a bunch of other children. Like, I would like to know the human female mother story and how all of her children died. Was it an accident? Was it a mental thing? I mean,
Well,
did
see,
did
even
she?
in all the stories, that I looked at, I mean, they're kind of there's nothing that I could be like, here's the newspaper article, here is the crime blotter, here is the report that shows these things. I mean, that's the thing, that it's all folklorish. It's not
Well, then maybe we should like bring the story of the White Lady into more modern times than to go back to the ancient Greece in order to create this entity who apparently is like each one of your stories that you found seems to be the origin story for a different aspect of what the white lady is.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, the one from the 14th century, which was Germany, uh, that was the royal family making it up because they wanted to have a cool story for why they had a ghost because it made them more important. And then come to find out that the lady it was made about never even had kids. And it wasn't anything to do with any of that. It was a haunted, I'm assuming, castle, and they made up a cool story for it. But it's a cool story.
Uh, this may make some people mad, and it's just my opinion. If you don't agree with it, perfectly fine. You don't have to. But I have found that, in my own opinion, that it would seem to be that Greek mythology, the Bible, whatever, just seems to be a whole bunch of different stories and tales that are precautionary or cautionary. They're to teach you not to do shit. And and whether they're based on real events or not, I don't know. I obviously it didn't exist in maybe I did, but I don't remember that life that existed in the Bible times. Scott apparently some of his former lives are in the Bible, like literally. He's some of the people in the Bible. We can talk about that another time. But like he's done past life regression.
I'm always leery about looking into that because then I'd be like, I'd do that. I feel like if I did the past life regression, I'd hear how great of a janitor I was or something at some other historic time.
Well, if you ask Cena, everybody was a witch sometime. Everybody was a witch or a warlock or whatever at some point in their past lives.
That definition is so broad that if you happen to know what herbs to pick in the forest that would make you feel better for whatever, you're going to be a witch and burned. I was like, so.
Yeah. I don't think I have introduced Cena to somebody yet where they weren't part of the Salem witch trials. Like everybody part of the Salem witch trials. But I digress. Even me, apparently, although I wasn't a witch that was burned. I was just there. My claim to fame is that I was pretty much the inspiration for the Von Helsing character. Like that was me back in the days. But we're getting off topic. So all I'm saying is that if there is a real story out there for why the white lady is the way that she is, or why it's claimed that a white lady has to deal with tragedy and loss and sorrow and grief and revenge and injustice and so on and so forth. I want those real stories. I don't want my kids were killed by Hera or Hera's children, anyways.
So one of the true stories that's out there is Anna Sadao, but hers is, I kind of find it.
That's what just makes me laugh. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Why? No, I'm curious. Why does it make you laugh?
Well, this is the one where she was mistreated by her husband, correct?
Yeah. Then it was basically an arranged marriage, which a lot of marriages back then were arranged, and I mean, it wasn't. There wasn't a lot of by choice stuff, and that went both ways too, men and women, because there were guys that were forced to get married to women that they didn't want to get married to because it made the family more political standing, more properties, more all those things. So
family sucks.
Hers was.
Let me just put that out there. Family sucks.
Yes, and basically they basically traded her out for some sort of political power, and he apparently was abusive, and the mother lived with him and she was abusive to her as well. So yeah, just all around a terrible situation. Some of the letters that are still out there talk about her begging her family to do it, to let her come back and get her out of it because it was so terrible. And it would be like releasing a soul from purgatory if they were to do that. And she was basically saying they would gain favor if they were to help her be free of the situation that she was in. And the family basically decided, no, they'd stick with the power that they got from it and let her just suffer as it goes. So that eventually gets to him getting to his deathbed, because I'm assuming he was probably older than she was at the time. And when he was dying, of course, you find religion and want to beg for forgiveness and all the things that you should have been doing the whole time.
The consequences of judgment, baby.
Yeah. You're like, let me just make this right now. So basically he asked for her forgiveness, and I guess the correct thing to do would have been to say, yes, you are forgiven and whatever. But she was like, hell no, you're not forgiven. You can go to hell. And basically he cursed her at that point and basically got her stuck to the here, trapped her spirit here somehow with the curse, which is interesting because you would have thought if he was such an evil person, he wouldn't have been able to do well, I guess maybe had some sort of deal there. But in any case, forgiveness wasn't going to be for him anyway to get where he was going. So he died, and then eventually she died, and pretty much every time with her, they considered her a crisis apparition, which again, it kind of one of many facets that go into the white lady thing, which I don't think really should be a white lady. If you're going to do it, should be broken down better. But basically she would appear whenever there was a death or someone was going to die in the family after that. The one that I know you didn't like was the Persia one, but that's the one that would show up in.
Right.
Go ahead.
Let's just stick on this one because you and I last week actually had a pretty good laugh on this one. So he's on his deathbed.
Yeah.
And he asks for forgiveness, which I get.
Yes.
All bad people are going to do that. Especially if the person that they know they wronged is right there next to him, or they have access to it. So she becomes defiant. No,
yes,
you're not getting my forgiveness. And his reaction is just, oh, well, in that case, I curse you. And she's just like, oh, well, damn. Maybe I should have thought about that a little harder. I didn't know you could do that. Like, I didn't know you could just be like, oh, you don't do what I want you to do. Well, now you're doomed to spend all of eternity here on Earth. And she's just like, oh, okay. I guess that's my life now.
I'm assuming there's more to it than that, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
And even then, the curse is to haunt her family?
No, this is the one that.
Well, no, because you said that she shows up in a moment of crisis when her family members are about to die.
Yeah, but it's for his. It's because she's in that family. That's his. Pershta's the one that you're thinking about, the one that shows up and her appearance can mean different things, and her family dies, and she basically is like a guardian spirit. That's Persia. And you're either stuck or broke up or gone. So with Sadao, one of the big apparitions that she did was a death march through the center court when he was about to die, and basically the guard saw all that stuff and freaked out. The one that he was talking about was Persia, which is the cover story for Anna Sadao. Which hopefully he'll be back soon. All right. Okay,
Well,
you're back.
how we do?
Okay. And I get where you're. So Persia is the one that the story's made of. Sadao is the true to life person that it was. Persia is the one that they basically made up the story about. But
Okay.
Sadao is the actual person that was the inspiration for her story. So I see where the confusion came from on that.
Confusion came from you, Anthony. So you're the one
It
telling the
did.
story. So you're saying that he cursed her and she did not haunt her family and she wasn't the crisis spirit?
No, that was Persia. That's the one that they made up the story about, and that's the one that they that she shows up for her family as a guardian or something like that. The real person that it's based off of is Sadao, which those are the ones that there are actually letters and stuff for. And
Okay, so
it
then what
shows up
happened to
for-
Sadao?
basically it just says that it doesn't really talk about how she died. Just eventually she died, and then she would come back and she would basically every time a member of their family, his and hers being married, when they would die, she would show up to collect them, escort them. I don't know what for, but she would show up when they were getting ready to die.
Worst curse ever.
Well, yeah, I kind of don't. So I can see how they could reach some of those things, but like I wouldn't see why you would want. I don't see why you would want to come back and take that if you were sticking yourself in our plane of existence rather than moving on. That seems terrible.
But the other thing, and this thing that I mentioned to you last week as well, for anybody that's coming back while somebody's on their deathbed, that happens all the flipping time.
Oh yeah.
All the time, even now. I mean, when people are closer to death, they start talking about how they're seeing their past spouse or their mother or I swear to sorry. I have my other computer in here, which is over on the counter, over by the router, and for some reason my headphones have connected to this computer and that computer, even though it's shut down and closed and should be connected at all. And so, like every 10 minutes, I hear it disconnecting from that computer and then reconnecting to that computer, and it blinks out my sound. Sorry, it's irritating.
No, I get it. I used to have my headphones. I used to have my headphones set to play a message if it came in on text, and yeah, you can't believe how annoying that is when you're talking to someone and all of a sudden it starts talking in your ear.
It wouldn't be so bad if it didn't like blank out the sound. So like you're talking, and then it disconnects, and so I can't hear anything that you're saying until it stops disconnecting and reconnecting. So if I just nod and like try to guess what you talk,
just what I just said. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I don't agree with that. That'll just be my go-to line. I don't agree. But
so after those, we jump to the I guess with the La Llorona type story, and that starts with the Aztecs and all that stuff. And I won't try to say her name because, unlike the scripted stuff, I don't have 20 takes to make that sound right. So I will just call her the Aztec snake goddess. But
for me,
she was. There are stories that she basically went out into the town and basically prophesized and was weeping for the loss of her people, the destruction of her people, because the Spanish conquest was coming. and this was prior to the Spanish showing up. Spanish show up. There's a lady named La Malicha, and it depends on which version of the story you listen to, or what version of it you listen to. There's some that say that she was forced to go with Cortez and be an interpreter for him because she could speak both languages. There's others that call her his partner. Now, I would it kind of feels like the latter, that she was probably, well, maybe a mix. So she probably thought that if she wanted to get better out of it, to go along with the program rather than try to fight it, because fighting it really wasn't going to get you anything, probably other than killed to begin with. But basically her name now means basically traitor to the people. So she definitely was not a liked person from that time frame. A lot of death, a lot of really bad stuff happened with them conquering everything and the way that they did it. Fast forward to basically, and I'm not sure how exactly they even got these two to merge together 100%, other than the fact that La Llorona weeps, but she like the story of La Llorona is basically the husband again finds a younger, more attractive female and basically dumps her for the other woman. And because she had kids and stuff with them, she takes the kids to the river, drowns them, and after realizing what she did and the grief, I guess, wearing off and realization coming back to her, tries to save the children, but in doing so drowns herself. And basically the spirit, they tell little kids to stay away from the water because she'll come get you and drown you. Same thing for men, which that's why I said I would assume, like, I can't ever really fathom, like, let's go find this ghost person, because like it just sounds like it would end terrible for you.
That just seems to me to be, again, more of a precautionary, something to scare the kids away from drowning themselves in the river.
Yeah, don't play in the water at night.
Yeah, it's the like storyline to The Village by M. Night Shyamalan. There's creatures in the woods, so you don't go in the woods, at night.
Well, it's like the Grimm fairy tales. I mean, that's all precautionary stuff too. So yeah,
very much so. So I mean, are there any recent like claims of the Weeping Lady?
I didn't dig a whole lot into those because I figured you would love the names of those things anyway, because I'm not sure who exactly started calling those things crybaby bridges, but that's what they're labeled as. And you froze up in the middle of a laugh, so okay. I'm just going to wait for you to come back because you're frozen here and you'll have to go back and look at this. Okay. All right, I was grabbing a screenshot. Those are the most current ones. The modern echoes of this are basically, okay, you're back.
I am. I'm sorry. It never should have left, but this computer is set up to automatically connect to the Wi-Fi. And so even though it's connected to my phone, it was like, no, you're going to go with the Wi-Fi. And naturally, no internet connection there. So, yeah, never mind.
Okay, so I was trying to how you froze was actually rather humorous. But basically, the Crybaby Bridges are basically any story about the bridges or something like that. They go into talking about ladies going to the bridges with the newborns or children and tossing them into the river. And then again, after realizing what they've done, either jumping in to follow their path or jumping in to try to save them. And then both are lost. And you show up to these places and you can hear, I mean, I've heard stories of other bridges. Like I think that there's a Pig Man Bridge or something like that. But basically, Goat Man, you show up, you honk your horn, and then you listen for noises and stuff and spook yourself out.
Pretty much. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. Then there's, like Dead Man's Bridge or the Devil Horn. I don't. It's
there's a ton of them.
Yes, there are.
Basically, the only thing they really have in common is the water. You're supposed to hear crying, and it's supposed to be because of a mother doing something terrible.
Like people who think they can go to like a roaring river or even a stream where there's a whole bunch of water sounds, thinking that they're going to hear some woman crying, they're going to, because that's what they want to hear. It's matrixing, it's pareidolia in like the worst possible sense.
Well, and there's also like, so you could have legitimate things for that. So like, I don't know if everyone is familiar with, or if you have bobcats where you are, but if you ever hear a bobcat out in the woods, I mean, that damn near sounds like someone crying or screaming. And you're gone again.
Holy God, I can't understand this at all. Apparently, apparently the gods don't like me making fun of them.
I told you, I thought this was a topic that you're not supposed to talk about, but.
Well, apparently, you can talk about because you're not having any issues. Me, on the other hand, I can't.
I'm not laughing.
Well,
I'm not the one. I'm not the one who said Greek mythology, which was all made up.
That's what I said. I'm the one.
Yeah.
That's not supposed to talk about. Apparently they don't like being made fun of by me. Because my phone is sat next to me like the entire, but even before we were on the show, and I have 5G coverage, no problem. As soon as I start using my phone to do the show, it demotes me to 4G, and now I can't stay connected. Oh my Lord. I don't know what to do here. Like I've spent like hundreds of, if not thousands of dollars to try and
I would say we need to take you back to a cable. No wireless. Hopefully we'll be back in a second.
I'm done with my phone. And I will bet you anything that now that I have stopped using the phone, it'll go back to 5G. Stupid T-Mobile. But okay.
Oh, he's using the bandwidth. Cut him.
Pretty much. Like, well, he's used 1 gigabyte. That's enough.
He's reached his unlimited for the day.
I would be so mad. Like I've been with T-Mobile literally for like 25 years. I for the longest time, I was with them when they were Verizon, not Verizon, VoiceStream. Am I still here?
Yeah, you're there.
Oh, okay. Because you just kind of were like looking at me like I wasn't here anymore.
Sorry, I was trying to grab something.
I got you. So, anyways, uh, I just want to get into what because we're running out of time here due to all of these,
Yeah.
and who knows how long I have. So I just did one search: claims of the white lady. That's it. It's the only thing that I searched. I just wanted stories, like legitimate stories from states, cultures, country, whatever it wanted to show me, of actual stories in behind people's claiming of the white lady, and didn't even get past the AI summary of the white lady before I was just enraged, and I hated every bit of it. So let's just take this one at a time. And this is the AI, scouring the internet, finding all of these claims of the white lady, and then summarizing them, putting it all together. Which sometimes, for a show like this, that's really all you need. You just need the summary.
Yeah.
That's what Amazon does now. Customers really like this about whatever product you're looking at. They don't like this. So, obviously, claims of the white lady refers to a common motif in global folklore describing a female ghost, typically dressed in white, who is associated with a tragic local legend. All right, that's pretty much on the spot. Like that's dead on. What the white lady is. So she has a tragic backstory.
Yep.
The spirit is usually a woman who has experienced an untimely and violent death, such as murder, suicide, or an accident. Common themes involve loss and betrayal, unrequited love or forbidden romance, and injustice. And the thing of injustice is being a victim of an honor killing, which I'm assuming, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is like the whole slap in the face with the glove when we need to, do 20 paces and then turn and shoot. Like I'm assuming that's what an honor killing is. Like you hurt my honor, so I'm going to kill you.
It depends what they're talking about, because so if you get into like Islamic faith and some of those other ones, there's honor killings, and basically that could, I don't know the context that they're talking about it with it, but it could be like you've dishonored the family, so you get killed.
Nice to see that we've gotten away from that in our modern.
Oh yeah, no, that's you could go
being sarcastic.
Yeah,
like you don't have to be like no. Actually, we have. I'm aware. Appearance and attire, right there in the name. She's almost always seen wearing a white dress, which could be a wedding gown, nightgown, or period dress. And you and I were talking about this before the show, which is ridiculous, symbolizing purity or tragedy.
oh yeah.
Those are two completely different things on the opposite side of the spectrum.
Plus that, I was going to say, plus that doesn't even jump into the whole. I would not call a stone tape type event something that would be like a white lady. So say you're something with a stone tape, someone's reliving or in a replay of their wedding day, them coming down the steps in a white, that doesn't even remotely fall into those things.
No.
But yet someone would call it that.
And it can't be both. And that's the thing that drove me insane when reading all of these summaries is the white lady represented everything. Everything. She was a harbinger of death. She's a protector. She would show up when you were going to die. She would show up when you were going to live. Like she she was there to help you. I'm like, a white lady can't encompass every effing thing out there.
No. Yeah, that was, so I know one of the things you didn't like was the inclusion of the banshees and stuff like that. But that would be one of the aspects that was out there for the weeping side of it. But
No,
weeping
no.
should be
You know
its
what?
own thing. No.
Shut your whore mouth. Banshees have nothing to do with the white lady. Nothing at all.
Well, they taken that from the weeping from the weeping aspect of it, but that is a totally different thing.
So you're saying that any spirit or entity or cryptid in existence that weeps is a white lady?
No, I'm not. I'm saying that would be something totally different. That's they're calling it that because of the weeping aspect that they're associating with the white lady, but really that's not even. I would say that the white lady is a destroyer of someone seeking vengeance, and like I said, overall not a positive experience if you were to actually run into one of those things.
How do you know? I mean, apparently she could.
I don't know because I'd never gone and looked for it.
Well, I mean, apparently her white dress could symbol purity, and she could be there to protect you. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, there's a story. I was thinking about that. There's a story up by you somewhere where there's a lake where men die every year, and so they don't go swimming in this place. Because you know which one I'm talking about?
No, but let me just clarify this right now. They drown every year because they're stupid.
Yes, I totally agree. Guys do stupid shit. So yeah,
they're dumb. They're driving their pickup trucks onto the river or onto the lakes when it's 3-inch thick and wondering why their truck sinks. I mean, we are dumb up here. Okay, that's why they're drowning. It's not a white lady. But we will make up stories.
Oh yeah, that one.
One
goes back to a Native American one. So yeah, just like.
Yeah, I mean, we will never ever be like, I got drunk and walked out into the river on a dare. No, it was I was summoned there by a beautiful woman in white, and I was entranced into the water. I mean, that we do that to save face. Just you can throw that out the water, out into the river yourself with that one.
No, I heard those stories and I was like, why would you even go to this place if that was the case?
Again, because we're stupid. and there's great fish in there. No white lady, spirit of vengeance is going to stop me from a 9-inch walleye or whatever 3-foot walleye. Anyways, I digress. Haunting location. The white lady typically haunts the place where she died or where her tragedy occurred, such as old castles, cemeteries, specific roads, rivers, or abandoned buildings. Like, what? Like, I get old
everywhere.
castles. Right. Everywhere. It could be anywhere. Rivers, lakes, land, water, doesn't matter. In the history, in the future, doesn't matter. But I mean, like old castles, I get because that's where a lot of stories come from, or of people being seen, over in Ireland and Scotland and England.
But
and
again,
stuff.
they're full of history, and there's I can't like. To me, the white lady is again vengeance and revenge, and just does not spell good things for whoever she runs into. So I can't see that most of the stories that come out of the castles and stuff are those things, just because they appear ghostly and translucent and whatever. So are we going to say that the ghosts that appear with their clothes looking white because it's a ghostly apparition, it's a white male, it's a white man? The white gentleman?
White gentleman, yeah. Um, I could get that. Maybe I could get behind specific roads if the person got like run over, that sort of
Yeah.
thing. But even then, that's just an untimely death. That happens, unfortunately, happens every day of every year. People die in awful accidents. It doesn't mean they come back as white ladies. Rivers, we talked about that already, but it's the cemeteries and it's the abandoned buildings I can't get behind, especially the cemeteries, like the place where they died or place where they died or her tragedy occurred. So she was in a cemetery and that's where she died.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've never looked at the stats, but I would be interested to see what the stats are for people who actually die in a cemetery. Because I'm assuming that's got to be really low.
I think that this is why it's in there, is because they included the story of Resurrection Mary into Who's a White Lady, which revolves around a cemetery, and it's not. And so here's behaviors and interactions. I won't read. I'll just read the ones. Wandering forlornly, the vanishing hitchhiker, omen of death, which we talked about, malevolent actions, physical phenomena. So I'm going to read physical phenomena. Wait, no, never mind. Physical phenomena. Witnesses, that's not behavior. That's like another thing. They bullet pointed it. But witnesses' accounts sometimes mention associated phenomena like sudden cold spots, flickering lights, and feeling of an eerie presence or poltergeist disturbances. That's the supernatural.
Yeah, I was going to say that's kind of broad.
Yeah, and like I said, the white lady encompasses apparently. Everything can be a white lady. Right down to
my expectations of you running into something like that realistically would leave with you leaving scratches or some sort of marks like that at the very least, and something trying to get you into some sort of draw you into some sort of water or body, something like that, with noises or sounds, and if you're not smart enough to not go there, then maybe worse.
It's the entire legend of a white lady is ridiculous because, and this is the segue that I'm going to use into the last discussion that you and I wanted to have. And that is that there is a stark difference between an entity that is considered a white lady and a spirit who is in white. And that's, and that's Resurrection Mary. That's what you were talking about, of a residual haunting of a bride coming down the steps or something like that in her wedding dress. You can be wearing white and not be an omen of death.
Correct.
Or flicker the lights or whatever. And this goes back again, and they just mentioned poltergeist. There's like 17,000 different definitions of what's a poltergeist out there. And if an object moves at all, it could be old man Nelson trying to get your attention, but no, it's a poltergeist because an object moved. And that's just not, for me, that's just not what a poltergeist is. And that's one of the issues with the paranormal, is that nobody, and I'd like your opinion on this, because the question has been, Dave and I have tackled this as well, is who's qualified to make those decisions? Who's qualified enough for the entire field to say this is the definition of a poltergeist? This is the definition of a white lady. do we have anybody like that? And if not,
Well,
I'm sorry, I'll just let you answer
there,
that first question.
okay, there actually are parapsychological universities and stuff like that, but and there are some that are actually in colleges and stuff. So I mean, there's divisions and stuff like that, but it's not like I have a master's in parapsychology or I have a bachelor's in parapsychology. And I would say, whereas the paranormal, as far as ghosts and spirits and stuff like that, is probably more widely accepted than UFOs and stuff like that, I would think that there's more scientific rigor that goes into ufology than the parapsychology part of it.
The thing about it is at least with ufology, like it's very narrow. It doesn't really encompass a lot yet, anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, people have been studying the paranormal, the supernatural, I should say, because UFOs are part of the paranormal. So the supernatural, that people have been encountering it on a steady basis for centuries. Ufology has only come about, at least in my opinion, since Roswell, is when it took a huge skip forward where people and the governments and stuff started to do it. And I don't think they need a lot of terms. And even then they can't figure it out because UFOs went to UAPs. And now we have USOs or UCOs or whatever the hell they're called.
All their acronyms for stuff, yeah.
Exactly. And they're physical. Like those are just like physical things that science can reach out and try and prove or disprove. It's not really the case with the supernatural. But I mean, I get your point about the parapsychologist, though.
Yeah, I was going to say that the problem with getting a good definition for it is that they would have to acknowledge it, and I think to acknowledge it, at least as far as an actual science goes, it has to be repeatable. Well, that can be pretty hard on some stuff. And then the people, even if you can repeat it, some people just don't want to acknowledge it. They'd rather keep their head in the sand and not know it existed. I mean, you're talking broad, like everything from like stuff like the telepathy tapes and stuff like that. There are people that bash that stuff left and right because they do not want to believe that that is possible. They do not, like every scientific test that I've seen that they have done, to me, either they're the new P.T. Barnum as far as pulling the scams off, or there's just no real doubt if you have an open mind and are willing to actually consider something possible. So, I mean, I think there's a lot in the science field that do not want to acknowledge that stuff because it basically shakes their map of the world, their paradigm.
Yeah. And they might want to.
There are no monsters under the bed or in the closets.
That is the general consensus that everybody would like to live by. I think that was such I don't want to say a good message, but a more realistic message of Supernatural, the show.
Yes.
I mean, even their pilot episode was a white lady.
Yes.
I mean, who obviously who drowned her kids.
Yes.
I mean,
the correct one.
Correct one, says Anthony. Anthony's drawing the line on what a white lady is.
Well, I'm just saying it's got to be more malevolent for me to have that label. You could have a ghost dressed in white. That don't make it one of those.
Yeah. I mean, she was, if you got the context, she was a woman wronged, cheated on, and then in a fit of despair drowned her kids and then jumped off a bridge. You know,
Yeah.
like that was her story in that pilot episode. But I mean, like, that's how far the white lady has gotten. I mean, to the point where, like, it's the first episode people went with, or that they went with. Like, that was the story. And if you want to consider a white lady, a legitimate white lady, to be I don't want to say a harbinger of death, but a malevolent type spirit that if you have wronged anybody in a way that she has been wronged, like, you're in trouble. I can get behind that. But there's got to be a line. Just like in Poltergeist.
Well, yeah.
There's got to be, what is a poltergeist and what is a spirit trying to get your attention by making some noise? What is a white lady? And what is a female spirit who is in white?
Well, yeah, that's right. When you were telling me about Resurrection Mary, that it pulled that up, I was like, I'd never even thought of that, because to me that didn't fit into that category at all.
No, I mean, and that's why, you know, this AI is bringing up, you know, freaking hitchhikers and stuff like that. I got rid of it. Dang it. Whatever, because it actually gave me. It's like, do you want individual claims? And I guess I do. But it got rid of it. But yeah, that was one of them. But anyway, I digress. All I'm saying is that I think people, I don't want to say be open-minded, because they're open-minded. They need to be more careful and focused, maybe. I don't know exactly. They just need to not generalize the way.
Yeah, I was going to say it has to be more than just the white dress. I mean, it can't just because.
Well, not according to you, Miss Banshee.
No, I said that's the weeping aspect. I totally get where that comes from.
It's still only one aspect. So I mean, is that all it takes?
And the keening started before that, which that was, I want to probably say where those tales originally came from anyway. So who's to say that the first Banshee wasn't a keener who died and came back? And I don't know, you could go all sorts. I could with that.
I'm gonna go on a limb here and be like, no, that's not. I just no. Banshee is not a white lady, especially since a Banshee isn't even from this realm. So she's not even a spirit. Not,
but see, that would be made up. That would be like the gods for you, for Greek gods.
No. Good. No. Anyways. I mean, I've said my piece. It's just, the white lady as it is now is way too broad.
Yes.
And like I said, just encompasses everything. That's not possible.
Yeah, and the part, like, I see the part that you wanted with I guess you wanted something concrete to back them up, and there's really not a lot of, at least for the ones that I would say definitely fall into that category. There's really not, there's not a lot of proof. There's not a lot of hard facts behind the ones that go with that. That's a lot of reaching, I think, that people are doing to get from point A to point B.
Reaching. Like that seems to be the number one thing that's wrong with the paranormal field, in my opinion, is there are so many people far too willing to reach.
Yes.
Like, you know, it's way more theatrical on YouTube and way more entertaining on YouTube to encounter a white lady than it is a lady that's in white. You know, if a white lady is going to kill you, but a lady in white might just be there to hand you cookies. Who knows? It's just
No, I get it. Like I said, I thought about it after we talked a little bit, and it really is too broad. There's too broad of a definition for what that is, when the most famous ones are definitely malevolent-ish at the very least, where they're going to do you harm in some way, shape, or form.
Malevolent-ish. Yeah, you can't have a white lady be malevolent and then another white lady be benevolent.
Yeah, this one brings you flowers while this one's going to scratch you and drag you into the water and drown you. Like, no.
Yeah, they can't both be white ladies unless you're going to classify, find out a classification of a white lady, which, again, I think would just be a headache, because who's going to, here's my issue with who picks and chooses, even if it's a parapsychologist from a well-known, a Harvard parapsychologist or whatever. Is Billy Bob, Johnson from Iowa, who's part of, Commandos Paranormal, going to abide by that? Or if they see a woman in white, are they going to freak out and, start freaking cleansing everything? Probably the latter, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was going to say that would be the other thing, is everyone jumps to the conclusion before knowing the history or the truth about what they're trying to do. And they assume certain things.
And I don't, if I keep talking about it, it's going to turn into a referendum on just like shitty paranormal teams, and I don't need to do that.
Oh no. I think there just needs to be more, they need to look into the information more than what they do. I mean, that's ultimately what it is.
Yes. Just be mindful. That's all you can ask.
And
really.
And Sage ain't going to make everything go away.
Saging doesn't make anything go away. It really doesn't. But I digress.
I can't tell you how many people I hear talk about that, but yeah.
Saging?
Yeah.
Yes, unfortunately. So, I mean, it can do some good, but you need a whole lot more to go with it than just walking around your house with the big old pile of sage.
Oh, and no one seems to talk about you could piss it off too. So,
well, I mean, and that's what I said. It really sometimes doesn't even do good. Does it maybe kick a spirit out for like 2 or 3 weeks? Sure. And then 3 weeks, the sage wears off, it comes back, and now it's pissed. I've done a case like that. They tried to get rid of a spirit, and it didn't work, and now they were pissed. So,
but they followed the YouTube video. It was going to be good.
No, shut up, Anthony. We're done. Unless you have something that you would like to add that we
have. Just to update, Conjuring House got to over 300K.
Nope.
There were some other little pieces, but I don't remember all what they were. I'll save it for next week. Kind of wanted the second part of an interview to come out anyway. So, Lakatsky. There's a 2-part Lakatsky interview where he's talking about he's talking about some of the UFO stuff that he's wanting exposed. Yeah,
completely switched topics.
Yeah, I did. Sorry.
In mid sentence, and I'm like, what? I'm like, Jason did a 2-part interview. I'm like, what are you talking about?
No. Sorry. Yeah, just talking about news things.
I gotcha now. That threw me for a loop. Sorry. Like, I had no idea what you were talking about. Yeah. So, the story continues when it comes to Jason and the Conjuring House. And again, go find him on social media. Go find his GoFundMe if you can spare a couple bucks to help him out. He's appreciative of everything. So, And apparently, and I haven't really looked into this, but he made reference to it in a new video that he posted the other day. Apparently, like he's being accused of like stealing money from people with this GoFundMe, and if it doesn't work, like he's going to take everybody's. I can only assume by how he was talking that that's what's being said.
No, it is. There's a bunch of people talking shit, and I mean, there's always going to be those people that troll whatever stuff and try to turn it negative, and he's this and he's that. And, you know, of all the people that are actually interested in it, he's probably the one that I would trust probably the most that I've heard out there involved with it.
Agreed.
And if you donate, if it doesn't go through, you get your money back. Like I've donated. I know what it says.
Yeah. And as somebody, me, who knows Jason Hawes personally, I mean, we're not buddies, but we don't, text message and shit, how you doing this weekend? But I have met him in person. I have had conversation with him. He has been on the show. Hoping to someday, hopefully soon, maybe, have him back. But yeah, he's, by all accounts for me, he's a stand-up guy. Yeah.
No, I think he just put himself in the spotlight, and because he did that, there's people that want to, for whatever reason, want to tear someone down as soon as they get into the spotlight. I think that's really all that is.
I will tell you this. Not going to get into why, but and I don't know why this is the case, but in the paranormal field, when it comes to money, people are crazy. Like they are insane when it comes to money in the paranormal. Whether you're a celebrity, whether you're a fan, it doesn't matter. You mess with somebody's money, and people just they lose their effing minds.
I think it's money in general, but makes people greedy. But yeah,
it really does. And it's sad. It honestly is. But that's all I got to say about that. Anyways, we will be back hopefully next week. Who knows? Little air of suspense and mystery in it, but yeah.
What does the fate hold for next week?
Yes. We are planning. Maybe that's what I should say. We are planning to be back next week. So, we will leave it at that. So, until then, stay healthy, stay safe. We want to see you back here. We want to see us back here. So until next time, see you. Have a great rest of the weekend.